Hello there. This is an episode of Now This Was Lit, which means it's an episode of Now This Is Lit that you may have already heard before. But if not, you get to hear it, maybe, for the first time. This miniseries will run through most of the summer, and it features interviews I've done in the past with Star Wars authors and creators. They're some of my favorites and some of the favorites of our Patreon community. So I really hope that you enjoy this interview from the past. It's like time travel, except not really, but we can pretend it is. Enjoy. This episode of Now This Is Lit is brought to you by Audible. Check the link in the description to get your first Star Wars audiobook free. Everyone loves free things. Click that link. Do it. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You're listening to Now This Is Lit, a podcast about Star Wars books, the people who make them, and the readers who can't get enough of them. I'm your host, Meg Dowell. I use she, her pronouns. And today is the day Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars is out into the world, and so is my interview with the author of the book. Sam Maggs is here on the show. Well, she was here. She's not here now. That would be weird. I am releasing this interview on Dork Side of the Force in written form, and here you get to hear the audio, and I'm so grateful that I was allowed to do that. So here we are. Here is my interview with Sam Maggs. Yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool, I think. First of all, how are you? How are you doing? You're less than a week out from this book finally coming out into the world. Are you okay? Are you hydrating? Are you sleeping? Is everything going okay on your end?
It's really exciting, honestly. I mean, it's a combination of exciting and nerve-wracking because, the book has been just close to my chest for such a long time, and I haven't been able to share it with anyone except for my wonderful editor, Tom, pretty much. And now it's out there, and at that point, the book doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to readers, to you guys, which is really, really exciting. Also a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's been really great. I've been doing a lot of interviews right after this chat. I'm getting on a plane to go to Emerald City Comic-Con, which is one of my favorite conventions in the country. So it's and we're giving away early copies tomorrow, which is gonna be really neat. So yeah, I feel good. I feel like I'm doing well, but I could always be hydrating more. So this is a really good reminder, and I appreciate it.
I think we all could be hydrating more. That's why I ask, because nothing wrong with being reminded to stay alive, I guess. What is
so much, truly.
Okay, so wow, this is great that you're at this point. We've done a whole book. It's not quite out yet, but we're getting there. We're so close. You are a fan of so many things, as so many of us are, and your parents were Star Wars fans. There's so many things that you love, and it truly is a dream for so many people who are so invested in pop culture to be able to tell stories in the universes they love, as you do. How have your fandoms kind of inspired your stories and your kind of like your journey? I mean, was there a point, I guess, when you're a fan of all these things and you're doing the things? Was there a moment where you were like, this is a path I want to go down? I would like to take my love of stories and my love of these universes and combine them.
Yeah, I mean, I think for so many people who are big fangirls like I am of, genre media, of these universes that we love, it is always a big dream to be like, oh my gosh, one day I would love to be able to create something for this universe, or, to get to play in this sandbox. To be one of, as we used to call it on the Stargate forums back in the day, to become one of like the powers that be, to get to play with these characters we love so much. And a lot of us do it in an equally valid way, which is through transformative fan works like fan art or fan fiction, which, I still love and think is super valid, although I can't obviously read Star Wars fan fiction anymore, which is such a bummer.
No.
But I don't think it was so much like, oh, I meant to follow this path, as like this is a real dream and it would be amazing if one day this worked out. And I kind of did everything I could to put myself in a position where I would end up either getting approached or like, knowing the right people or putting the right work out there that would get me noticed um, by folks who are in charge of doing the hiring for projects like these. I think my fandom inspires my work in a lot of ways because I spent so long thinking about what, as I think a lot of fans do, and a lot of what inspires transformative fan works like fan fiction is looking at the stories that we love and being like, yeah, but I'm not seeing this kind of story. I'm not seeing more female characters in leading roles. I'm not seeing queer romances. I'm not seeing XYZ. And, putting that into their fan works. And that I think has really informed my canonical storytelling in all of these worlds, which is like when I was growing up, what didn't I see that I wish I had had? And I think that, more female protagonists, obviously, more complicated, complex, morally gray female characters is a big one. Queer relationships, obviously, between women, a huge one for me. Cooperative relationships between women. All of these things that we didn't really, teams of women, stuff we didn't get to see that I was always like, man, it would be awesome if we had that. I think that really informs my current work in a lot of ways. It certainly informs Battle Scars.
It sure does. And you know what? You did it. You had this dream. You knew what you wanted to see. And without spoilers, I will say, Marin, A Star Wars Story is a great book.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
It's very, very
thank you.
This is not the first time you've written Star Wars stories. You've written for Star Wars Adventures, and you wrote the Star Wars short story that is my favorite pun of all time, which is Luke on the Bright Side.
Thank you so much.
It's a very good story also.
Oh, thanks. It's funny, when the proofs came in for that book initially, it was the first time I'd seen the rest of the stories that were going to be included in Stories of Jedi and Sith. And everyone else had picked like a very serious title for their story. And I remember emailing my editor and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, this was mostly a joke. We can totally change the title. Like, don't even worry about it. And she emailed me back being like, don't you dare. And I was like, okay, yeah, all right, we'll keep it. Great. So I'm glad you appreciate it.
And this is why editors exist, because they
so true.
They just let you do the things, and they don't let you back down,
So true.
So you've written those things, the stories are all stories, but a novel is a big thing. It's a big story.
Yeah.
First time you've done that for Star Wars. How did writing the Star Wars stories that you've written previously kind of like prepare you to take on this new endeavor, which is writing a whole big novel?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it really helped situate me into like the tone of what most of the Star Wars sort of extraneous media writing projects live in. It helped me to get familiar with what Lucasfilm and Story Team is really looking for when it comes to tone, theme, character development, those sorts of things on these external media projects. So that was really, really nice because I felt like I was a little bit grounded when I came into Battle Scars. What was particularly challenging for me about Battle Scars is that this is, Star Wars Adventures and Stories of Jedi and Sith are both all ages books. They're for kids or teens. Yeah. I mean, they're for everyone, all ages, right. But, primarily aimed at a younger audience or readable for a younger audience. As is a lot of my previous work in prose fiction. I've written for adults a lot in video games, which is my day job. I've written for Call of Duty, and I've written for, in comics, I've written for Critical Role, which is a more adult property. And, but for novels, I've written middle grade and YA fiction, but this Battle Scars was my first adult novel. And so I think that was what was sort of most nerve-wracking for me, And it was the thing that my editor at Del Rey was, my editor, Tom, who's wonderful, was the most like, I know, he was the most encouraging about it. He was like, I know you can do this. I picked you for this project for a reason, kind of thing. And so it was nice having that background on the other projects, knowing that the Lucasfilm team at least already knew my work and was supportive of me going into a kind of project in a medium that was, in a way, I mean, I'd written novels before, but this was sort of in a way fresh for me.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of authors who end up writing Star Wars novels, start in the realm of maybe they're doing comics or they're doing short stories. And it's fun to see them, go from one thing to another and kind of like try out different things. I think it's just really, really cool that you all get to do that.
I feel really lucky to be sort of in that group of like incredibly talented folks like Mike Chen and Delilah Dawson and Claudia Gray and Beth Revis and these writers who I'm such a huge fan of myself. It feels a little bit surreal, frankly. I feel really lucky.
It's so cool. So Battle Scars is pretty unique as far as Star Wars books are concerned, in that we don't get a lot of books featuring video game characters that are set between two games, one that's out already, one that hasn't come out yet. What was it about this project, whether it be the time period or the characters, that kind of made you really like jump in and be like, this is the thing I want to do. I would like to write this story, please.
So many things about the Mantis crew just make it real prime Sam Meggs bait, to be honest. Like, I mean, besides the fact that, as we sort of touched on earlier, Marin is the kind of character that we almost never get to see in media generally. Like, we don't get a lot of POV female characters who are real sort of anti-hero, morally gray, kind of like evil bad girls, that we're not allowed that a lot. And the fact that we didn't get to see a lot of her in Fallen Order, that she shows up right at the very end, left me like chomping at the bit for more from her. And I remember finishing playing the game and almost immediately going on Twitter and tweeting like, let me write the Marin book. Because I just like immediately, I think like a lot of people who played the game, or most people, probably fell in love with her and was like, oh my gosh, I want more. I want to know more about her background. I want to know her story. I want to know how she feels. I want to know how she feels about being like an evil witch who joins the like USS Goody Goody. Just it's a lot. And I so like Marin was a big reason, obviously, but also I'm a big fan of sci-fi stories about like a ragtag space crew. I love a found family. I love a small family on rickety ship in space take on big evil organization too big for them, like just one of my favorite sci-fi tropes, frankly, which I think they do so well in Fallen Order, and they set up so well. And also just the cast of characters itself. Like, obviously I love Marin, but the way that BD and Grease and Seer and Cal all play off of each other, it was just like so ripe for, I just wanted to hang out with them more. Like that's how I felt. I was like, I want to know what my friends are up to now after this. And that's really what did it for me. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan, Star Wars is wonderful at creating characters and characters that you care about, but there was something about this crew in particular that I was like, this is it. Like, there's so much potential here. And I really want to be a part of it. And the game was so fun. It helps. It was a blast to play.
It was. I remember finishing it because I finished it before this book was announced, and I was like, Marin is so cool. And like the game ends, and I'm just like, I need more, and you gave us more.
Yes.
And
thank you. Yeah. Well, and I think too, like being a game writer made this particularly appealing to me too. Yeah. It was like, I want to write video game the book, and I had a lot of fun with that. Especially in writing the action sequences, because they're so fun to play in the game. And I really, really wanted the action sequences in Battle Scars to feel like the way it feels when you're playing Cal. in Fallen Order and Survivor. I obviously take some liberties with the fact that this is a book and I
Mhm.
get to like make Cal ride on the back of a bounty hunter who's flying the earth with a jetpack or whatever. But like for the most part, I obviously, you know, I played the game, I beat the game, all of that stuff. But as I was writing actively, I always had YouTube videos open of Cal's move sets and his actions because I wanted the moves that he executes in the book to map as closely one-to-one as possible to the gameplay, because I wanted people who played the game to, you know, read about Cal's actions, be like, oh, I recognize that, I can do that, I did do that. And I wanted to sort of canonize the fact that these aren't just like buttons that you press on the controller, like these are Cal's moves. Like this is his moveset, this is what he does, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was really, really fun. It was one of the things I was most nervous about going into writing the book was the action sequences, but it was the thing that I consistently got the most positive feedback on through every iteration as I was drafting from both my editor and from Lucasfilm, which was great. The feedback that I did get a lot of the time from Lucas was like, this is too violent. And I often had to be like, have you played the game? Did you play? Is it pretty much? And they're like, yeah, but that doesn't really happen. I'm like, I saw it happen. I did it. And they're like, yeah, but you know, hand wavy. And I was like, okay. So I toned the video game violence down a lot in the Cal sections, not so much in the Marin sections.
No.
But that felt important to me for her character. So, you know.
The book really does feel like a video game, but because it's a book, it's able to kind of expand on the story so much more. And like Fallen Order is a great story, and it's kind of like reading the sequel, but you get so much more. You get, you know, in the characters' heads and things like that, and everything from the action to the dialogue to like you really do. There are moments in this book where you do feel like you're hanging out with the characters because they're standing around and they may be talking about something or planning something, but you're there in it. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I really appreciate it.
Most, if not all, writers who get to play in this universe have a dream character or story that they're like, I hope someday I get to write this thing. If you haven't already, do you have a character, a story, an era you want to touch, something in Star Wars that you want for a time to be yours?
Oh my gosh. Bo-Katan.
No,
Huge
that
for
is
me. I know, I would love to write her so much. I feel like it probably will not happen because I'm sure they have like a million things in the works for her, but like
right.
I love Katie Sackhoff, like my OG pick for Captain Marvel. Like I love that character. It would be so fun to explore the Mandalorians further through like her perspective, and I think Bo-Katan would be super fun. But if I'm being totally honest with you, I just want to write more Marin. Like maybe Marin comics or something would be amazing. But like I think we deserve more Marin.
Oh, we
So
definitely do.
hopefully there's an avenue for that. But I don't know. I feel like maybe if I say Bo-Katan in these interviews enough, someone at Lucasfilm will have to let me do it. No one from Lucasfilm is listening to these, but maybe I put the Marin thing out into the universe, so we'll see.
I want someone someday to write like a Bo-Katan and Satine like coming of age novel. Like they're still, you know, the in that era where they're still figuring it out, and before the Clone Wars, things like that. I've wanted that for so long, and like maybe you won't get to write that one, but I hope, because I don't know if anyone will, if we're being honest, but I hope you get to do something because Bo-Katan is my favorite character. So
I'm obsessed with her. I know, it would be so great. Ugh.
Well,
fingers crossed.
yes.
By our powers combined.
Yes. We'll make it happen by
Thank you so much.
Just really hoping it will.
Thank you so much. I'll keep you posted.
Good. Oh, this has been really, really fun. I love hearing about your experience working on this book and getting to know these characters, and just really it just comes through in the way you talk about this story, how much you love it, and it also comes through in the story itself. And I cannot wait for everyone to be able to read this book and experience it for themselves.
Gosh, thank you. I had so much fun writing it. I'm so glad you had fun reading it, and I can't wait to share it with the rest of the world. And I really appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all so much for listening. As always, it's so good to know that at least one of you is out there supporting what we're doing here. And by we, I of course, as always, mean me. But I could not have done it without, a lot of different people contributed to this happening. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to Random House Worlds and many associated. It means a lot that I get to do stuff like this. And hopefully this is not the end of that. So stay tuned for future things, I guess. All right. Next week, another episode about Star Wars books, because that's why we're here. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Please come back. Now This Is Lit is part of the Faraway Fandom Network and is produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, Jose Jimenez. Designed our podcast art. Keep up with the show on Twitter at Star Wars Lit Pod, and find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can subscribe to the newsletter. You can use our Audible link to get start a free trial and get an audiobook free for yourself. Jedi Battle Scars. That's a great audiobook. Highly recommend. But you can pick anyone you want to, because it's your choice. It's you're in charge of what you use your free book for, I guess. There's also a link in the show notes to, you can, if you haven't pre-ordered the book, or if it's not on the way already, you can get it through Bookshop, because when you do that, you support your local bookstores, and that's really, really important these days. So if you want to support that way, you can do that. For more book reviews and Star Wars book celebration, follow Star Wars Book Reviews on Instagram, if you're still into that. Instagram is all about reels now. I don't know. It's probably going to be fine for all of us. Sure. Come back next week, please.